Everyone, thanks for joining. ChipBrain and GenesisAI is really excited to host this webinar. We are two, I would say, really interesting and exciting AI companies trying to have an impact on the world. And we are excited to tell you today about our own companies. We're going to start with GenesisAI. I will take around 10 to 15 minutes to update some of our existing community members and investors who are attending today's call, and also talk a little bit about what we do at GenesisAI for people who have not heard about us. We'll also make some interesting announcements, so I'm sure it will be interesting. And after my presentations, then we're going to take around 5 to 10 minutes to answer some of the questions that our attendees might have. And after that, we're going to move forward and talk about ChipBrain. Lisa, CEO of ChipBrain, will present and talk about ChipBrain. And as finally, we're going to have around 10-15 minutes in the end to discuss some high level, basically maybe introduce one or two investors from the attendees, maybe ask them about their experience, what they are looking for. Our goal is to be truly not one way or two way or three way, but to have engagements from everyone who is attending on this webinar. So I guess to get started, I'll start from talking about what we do at GenesisAI. So at GenesisAI, we are building a marketplace for AI products and services. Basically, idea is to allow everyone in the world to use power of artificial intelligence, and also allow everyone in the world to monetize their AI technology. Imagine we're solving these two major problems, and best way to show this problem is by talking about specific examples. Let's say you are a smart computer science student living in, for example, Ukraine. It will be really hard for you to monetize your AI tech. It's really expensive to do business-to-business deals. It's very hard to get access to some really large clients, and also regular users as well. So what GenesisAI does for AI developers is it offers them a platform, a marketplace for them to monetize their creation. Idea here is, let's say you are selling your furniture in a brick and mortar store, and then Amazon came to you and told you you can also sell your furniture on Amazon.com and potentially have millions of people looking for your furniture and buying from it. So our value proposition to supply side of our marketplace is really straightforward. We allow people to get access to users, companies, and in general to potential revenue that do not have access themselves. And we basically tell them that if your technology is working really well, this will become evident in reviews that they will get, which is going to attract attention of some of our users that we have on the platform, and generate revenue for these people. And on the other side, we are also providing really straightforward value for buyers on the marketplace. This is demand side of our AI marketplace. These are people, specifically software engineers, IT professionals, who are looking to use particular AI solution, mostly in terms of AI API. Let's say that I want to use a speech recognition tool. It's going to take many days and maybe even a few weeks for me to develop the speech recognition tool myself. So instead of reinventing the wheel, I'll go to GenesisAI platform, and anyone can check out our website, genesisai.io, sign up, play with our tool. And so you can go to the GenesisAI.io website and compare different speech recognition tools with each other. You can test some of these tools straight in front of the web browser without writing a single line of a code. You can see documentation, you can see pricing, you can have everything basically you need to make a decision which AI tool you want to use. And after that, then you can finally go to one of our sections that we have on the platform that allows people to basically start using these AI APIs by copy pasting few lines of code. We make it super simple for any software professional to start using state-of-the-art AI APIs. So this is a quick description of what we do at GenesisAI. And before I go and talk a little bit more about the team, market potential, and so on, I'm sure some of our community members can't really wait for some of the updates we have. And I have two major updates. First, I'm happy to announce that we entered voice biometrics markets. This is really unique entry for anything that has to do with AI, because idea here is to match a person's identity with his or her voice. Here is example. Let's say you are calling your bank, you want to freeze your debit card. They're gonna ask you probably 3, 4, 5 questions. What's your first name, last name? What's your date of birth? What's your debit card number? Blah, blah, blah. And this is really inconvenient for people. It also takes around 30 seconds for customer professionals to basically find out your true identity, to verify your identity. So AI voice biometrics industry we entered into is solving this problem by recognizing a person's identity from his or her voice. So right now I'm traveling to Republic of Georgia. I'm talking to basically every major bank. Last week I had 3 meetings. I have second round of meetings tomorrow and next week as well. Goal is to get few major banks in emerging markets first who will be interested to use AI voice biometrics. We believe there's the biggest opportunity in emerging markets because in the US, there are a few banks that are already using it. For example, TD Bank, one of the largest Canadian banks, is already using it. And JP Morgan and few others as well. But in emerging markets, specifically in Eastern Europe, where we have, I would say, enormous amount of connections with heads of the banks, we believe that's a great entry point. Market is ready to accept this truly huge innovation that is probably going to reduce their customer service costs by around 20%. So this is one big announcement. And second big announcement that I want to make is about research on the research direction. GenesisAI is not only AI marketplace, but also it is a platform that is trying to innovate, provide research and development into the AI ecosystem. And our chief scientist, Mena, developed a really interesting AI solution based on reinforcement learning. Basically, idea is to build an AI that can beat intermediate and hopefully advanced players in the future in Texas Hold'em, in poker. So AI has solved lots of games in terms of, for example, chess. Best of the best players can easily be defeated by artificial intelligence powered chess software, right? But that has not really been achieved in poker, and our research direction really tries to innovate in this direction. And reinforcement learning, which is a superb and extremely interesting part of AI, for people who might not be very familiar, the idea that humans develop when we spend time on something. More basketball I play, all else equal, better I become. Same thing with artificial intelligence. More AI is going to play against copies of itself in poker, better it will become in understanding what makes it win and what makes it lose. And it knowing the factors that affect its win rate helps it to become better and beat some of the really, really professional players. So our AI that plays poker right now has success rate of around 45% against players like me. I am around intermediate player. And this has been done with a training of around 8 days approximately. And our goal is to extend this potentially to maybe a couple of weeks to see how much better this AI is going to play poker. And we believe this has not only super interesting applications inside the poker, but also outside of that. Any type of professional games, and in some of the games there are esports. This is an industry, is probably $100 billion market, right? And that's a big opportunity. And second big opportunity is with anything that has strategy in it, right? Even you can argue that anything that has to do with military strategy can be supplemented, amplified, and improved using power of reinforcement learning. A strategy actor replicating itself many times to do what we want it to do, which is to win in something that's really meaningful and important, right? So go back to GenesisAI now, because we have around 5 minutes left to talk about GenesisAI. GenesisAI's team, there are 3 people in the core team in GenesisAI. I myself, I was Harvard College 2016. Lisa was also Harvard College as well from ChipBrain. I used to work at Bridgewater Associates, largest hedge fund in the world. I was on the investing and trading side. Then I got super interested into artificial intelligence, started my first AI company, Palatine Analytics, that reached profitability. And now GenesisAI, which is my full-time focus. Our goal, as I mentioned, is to build AI for everyone, both for people who would like to monetize it and people who would like to consume it. Mena, who is our chief scientist, he did PhD at Harvard. We also founded and worked together on our previous company, Palatine Analytics, and Artyom, who is leading our engineering side. He was at Salesforce for 5 years as a software engineer, and he was also working as a software engineer at American Express for around 5 years as well. Extremely experienced team member, and extremely experienced in all things engineering related. And we also have a great team of advisors. We have a few professors from Harvard. We have executives, for example, Neil Flattry, who had multi-billion-dollar exits mostly in biotech space, and so on. So this is quickly about our team. So where we are, GenesisAI is really proud to have around 4,000 investors. This includes VCs, angels, friends, and equity crowdfunding investors, people who invested in our crowdfunding rounds. And I'm sure some of them are attending this call right now. We have raised around 5 million so far. We started to generate revenue in 2022. For the first 6 months, 2022, we have generated revenue for $6,000, and our goal and hope is to grow it substantially. And we'll be making announcements about revenue numbers for the later this year, sometimes in January, February of 2023. We also have around 2,000 users, and we believe that some of the new markets that we are entering, for example, the voice biometrics I mentioned, can be really interesting opportunity, and I would love to keep everyone updated on this. And finally, to talk about some of the upcoming roadmap, right? Like, what's the plan? What's in it for GenesisAI? So GenesisAI, on the product side, our goal right now is to have really big breakthrough into one of the AI applications we have and I will specify why we really want this breakthrough. Imagine on Amazon, if there was one thing that you could not buy anywhere else, what would you do? And if that thing was really good, you probably would go to Amazon and not on eBay, right? Or Netflix. Imagine that Avatar that is coming out right now, for example, Avatar 2, would only be on Netflix. You would probably subscribe on a Netflix to watch it, right? So we want to have one really, really state-of-the-art AI solution that's going to be groundbreaking, so that we attract lots of people to come to GenesisAI platform. And we are experimenting with few solutions right now, and I'll keep everyone in the loop on some of the major discoveries, hopefully some of the major discoveries that we're going to have there. And finally, on the business development side, my goal is to close few deals with some of the banks that I mentioned that we are talking right now. And next few years, I cannot really make forward-looking statements, and nothing is, of course, guaranteed, but our goal is to have a substantial presence in voice biometrics in Eastern Europe and Central Asia, and hopefully beyond that as well. So this, I guess, summarizes GenesisAI. And finally, I will mention that we are raising on Net Capital. I posted Net Capital's link. If some of our investors will be interested to reinvest again, or new investors will be interested to join, I'd like to discuss and talk a little bit more about the future of AI. So now I would love to give community members the time to ask some questions. We're going to allocate around 5 to 10 minutes for some questions, and then we're going to move and discuss ChipBrain. And we will also mention some of the most frequently asked questions. But before I get there, you can use either a Q&A function to ask some questions, or chat function will be as well. Some of the questions, I guess, will be displayed to everyone. Some questions only panelists will be able to see. So I'm gonna wait for around 30 seconds for questions to come in, and then we can dive deep.
Archie, that was a wonderful presentation. I actually have a question for you that might help some of the investors. How does GenesisAI solution stack up against other competitors in the marketplace? Are there other marketplaces for AI out there?
Thank you, Lisa. It's a great question. So we do have few competitors. One of them is is called Rapid API, and another one is called Hugging Face. And we are in a type of market which is going to probably be characterized with winner takes all, which provides both risks and potentially huge rewards as well. Marketplaces usually need both sides, suppliers and buyers as well. And only way to make buyers happy is to have lots of suppliers, because that reduces the price because of increased supply, and also provides lots of variety from where buyers can choose. And also suppliers want to see lots of buyers, because that's the way more buyers also equal more money they can make, right? So this type of markets are usually characterized with winner takes all, and we believe that we are in a really good position to potentially succeed in this area because we have unique approach towards building technology. Not only we are connecting buyers and sellers with each other, but we are also interconnecting different AI tools with each other. Imagine if you had speech recognition tool working with translation tool to produce speech translation, right? This is increasing functionality, example of increased functionality. Or another example can be increasing accuracy rate. For instance, when you average output of different models, sometimes you get better accuracy rate versus if you relied on a single model. And we believe that if we have potentially tens of thousands of AI tools interconnected, we can beat some of our competitors through better quality of these AI tools. Also, another question that I get get a lot is Genesis AI's main use case, right? Who is exactly user of Genesis AI? Genesis AI's user is we started targeting non-technical people, but then we discovered that there was a larger opportunity with targeting technical engineers, the software engineers, IT professionals, people who are interested to use AI and they can integrate that today. They don't need to spend too much time on learning intricacies of this AI, right? But rather because they are already engineers, they have some understanding of how to do this in the short term. And we found that these people really know what they're looking for. For example, they know that I want translation tool. I will compare translation model X with translation model Y. And if I prefer Y, then I'm going to integrate that by copy pasting a few lines of code. So right now our platform is accessible for everyone. Anyone can use it, especially if you don't need to make too many requests. For example, no need to have thousands of summarizations done a day or thousands of translations done a day. If you want to make 10, 20 requests a day, then you don't need to know anything about computer science to use some of our platform applications. But if you want to make large scale requests, then you probably want to use some of our APIs, and our APIs are really powerful.